I've actually been eating pretty clean lately.
I have too, so clean, and it's good, but
And-
I'm just craving it now.
It makes me... You know what? You gave me about, 10 packets of... for those listening, if you've never had... What's the brand? The Cake in a Mug brand? The blue packet, you get it out of Woolies. White Wings, something like that. Holy crap. The triple choc mud cakes, whatever it's called, the triple choc cake in a mug. Oh,
stop talking about that. That's not going to help me
my
when
God.
I say I feel like
my
chocolate.
God. That gets me squirming. It makes my knees wobble.
Do you have any?
No, I've eaten them all.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You gave me, I think, how many packets? Like 12 packets, freaking 8 packets or something. And in each packet was 4 cake in a mugs. I've eaten them since late August.
When was your birthday? The end of August.
But I told you, like my cheeks started to get puffy. Like I started to feel fat. I started to feel gross. And then I realized, I'm eating 2 cake in a mugs per day. I mean, no shit, I feel like a scumbag. I mean, I'm eating like an absolute horse.
It's fine. All right.
So much sugar.
Keep moving this.
So much sugar.
Okay, how are we starting this?
I don't know. We've already started.
Look.
I'm recording. Yeah, your teeth are disgusting. Continue.
Hang on.
What do you think of this shirt? I don't mind this shirt.
I've never seen this shirt on you.
Oliver Tree. It's the guy I was singing before. Life goes on and 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 on. Life goes on and on and on and on.
You are so happy today.
I'm so happy.
And I'm not. Do you know what? We can't align. We literally can't align our shit ever.
Yeah, look, either I'm in the best mood ever, I'm like confident, I'm ready to kick some goals, or I'm really anxious, a bit fragile, a bit like, oh, leave me alone. And
I'm the opposite.
And you're the opposite. And when I was feeling fragile and a little bit lonely,
great.
You were like, let's go.
And now today I'm fucking fragile, anxious, emotional, stressed.
I think it.
But it's okay. That's life. That's normal.
That is life. What is making what's bringing you the angst? What's bringing you the uncomfortable feelings?
Like
anything in specific, Karina?
Whole world of overwhelmed today. Yeah, look, it happens to me. We talk about this a lot, but I do get overwhelmed. Very.
Do you ever get overwhelmed and you have no idea why you're overwhelmed?
No, I know.
Okay. Well,
sometimes
I get overwhelmed sometimes, and I'm like, it's a bad thing because I go, is my brain just not working properly? And then I'm like, well, that's not helpful because I can't really I can't fix it if I don't know where it's coming from. If you don't know what
it is, that's a frustrating feeling. But we had this chat last night because I was feeling very just uncomfortable last night.
I sensed it. We're on a FaceTime call, and you just and by the way, I was going to get off the call, but then when I recognized that you were feeling that way, I just went.
You were really good.
I stayed on the call, and I was just like, no, I'm not finishing the call right now because I don't really want to get off a call to you if you're not feeling well. Because
I appreciate that because you did calm me down last night, and I think that's where our friendship is good. Is that when you're in those positions too, you can like. I don't know. I can feel it, and sometimes you just need someone to listen. I think we said this the other day.
We are on a wavelength.
We are. Like, I get it, and I respect. Sometimes when you're feeling the way that I was feeling last night, there were really not that many reasons why I should have felt that way.
Right.
But I could talk it out to you, and I don't feel judged by you, which is great.
Oh, because I'm not going to judge you.
No, but some people do, and some people you just can't talk to. I'm incredibly fortunate that I have amazing people in my life that don't ever make me feel like that. But sometimes you just need to talk it out. Yeah. And I'm the type of person that if I'm feeling a certain way, I've got to get it out. Because if I hold it in, I just... But
I like being the person that like I knew that if I jumped off the call, you were going to continue to stay in that process of whatever the process you were in. And I was like, I could just stay on the phone for another 20 minutes and at least let you get it out. I'll ask you more questions. Because for me, if I'm feeling a certain way and I feel a bit of, I feel a bit of, someone kind of going, I want to get out of this conversation because you're in a mood, I get worse because I'm like, just let me, I need to get it out. And I don't want to get it out to anyone who doesn't want to hear it. And so when I sensed that you were a little bit off, I was like, no, just tell me what's going on.
But sometimes you got to voice it to make yourself feel better. And I think what I realized is that we've spoken about this, but I'm an incredibly self-aware person, which is good, but it also is hard because like last night I was feeling certain things and then I was just like, why? And then when I can't understand why, that frustrates the fuck out of me because I don't know how to fix it.
Then you're just circulating thoughts.
So then my brain just kept going and going and going. And I could say this to you that I am in the best place I have been in for I truly can't even tell you how many years.
And I said that to you. I go, Karina, everything's good right now.
Everything is great. And that's why I was so frustrated last night, because I'm like, what the fuck, Karina? Like, and do you know what? It's the stuff that's affecting me at the moment is stuff that is a bit out of my control. So it's just, I got frustrated at myself because I'm like, I'm feeling so good. I'm so happy in so many aspects of my life, but then I just have this like.
But do you think that the overwhelming feeling of being happiness is what's triggering you to go?
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
But this is how fucked it is, right? And this is how fucked emotions are. But like, I haven't, and this is going to sound like I fucking want people to feel sorry for me.
I think people, like, I know where you're going. I'm interested to see how many people relate to this feeling of yours, because we discussed it last night, and I think it'll be a good thing that you don't have to go into detail.
No, like,
but it might be nice to discuss what that is.
Yeah. So like and it sounds even silly saying it because it makes zero sense, but at the end of the day, it's real for me. But the last couple of months, I've felt a happiness that I have wanted to feel in forever. Like, I can't even tell you how long.
But you thought you could never get here.
Correct. And I think that's what's getting to me is the fear of losing this feeling.
Right.
So this happiness that I'm feeling is something I've searched for, wanted, and it's everything that I've wanted. But it's something I'm not familiar with, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I truly thought, like a few years ago, fucking 12 months ago, 6 months ago even, I did not think that I would ever get this feeling again.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's unfamiliar.
It's scary. It's fucking exciting and it's great, but then it's also terrifying because I drove home. So just as an example, I drove home from something about a month ago, and I literally, like, amazing.
An event?
Had the best day. Yep. Had like the best day, the best night. Everything was great. Everything. But I was so overwhelmed with this feeling of happiness that I've wanted to feel that I just literally burst into tears.
Right.
So
was it happy tears?
It was happy tears, but it was an overwhelming sense of I didn't know how to deal with it. So and then I felt guilt because I'm like, don't be fucking stupid, Karina. Like, this is all good. It's all great. Right. But then I did not know what I have had. I think because I have been to such an incredibly low for such a long time and experienced some feelings of a low that is hard to explain, that being in the opposite of that is very
do you think it's
confronting,
like overstimulating, like you're completely like,
I just sat there and I just pulled over and I just let it all out, and I was like, I just have to deal with this right now.
Right.
And afterwards I was fine, and I'm fine, but it's just like, it's amazing how these things can come up and you're like, fuck, like, how do you deal with these things?
Right.
So I guess at the moment it's just like, it's kind of surreal in a way. So yeah, I think in the last week I have a lot of fears that are so irrational, and in my brain I know they're irrational, but at the same time it's like
yeah, but just because it's irrational, I found it hard to describe. Like, let's say I go through stints of being really anxious, and I almost can't even put my finger on it. I'll wake up and my heart's pounding, and I'm on edge. Like, I'll go to the shops and someone will say, "Excuse me," and I'm like, "Ugh," like I get real like, ugh, weird, and I can never explain what that is, and it just happens every now and then. What I do know for myself is that if I start eating a cake and a mug every day, and I don't look after my health, and I don't get out in the sun, and I don't go on my hikes, and I don't go to the gym, I drink way too much soda and not enough water and all these things, I don't take my vitamins, like, I'll find myself going down a route like that. And then when I do feel it coming, and I'm very sensitive to it, I'm like, oh, I'm starting to get a bit funky, I'll start going heavier into like being healthy, eating cleaner, and making sure that big thing for me, and I'm not sure if this kind of goes in with what you're saying, is I find that if my social life declines, if I start to be by myself in my own home and not see my family, not see my friends, not FaceTime friends as much as I'm doing, that's when I start to get on edge and things start to get weird for me.
Completely. And you feel a bit isolated and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. And it's funny, like, you respond to things differently to how I respond to things differently, but that's the feeling I had last night. I just was I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, I just feel uncomfortable all day. And then I started going back to, I think one of the combos we had last night that I was basically thought I'd figured out in my head was that I've been through some trauma. So, it's hard to explain that, but dealing with things after trauma is a whole thing. And I think you said to me, maybe this is a bit of PTSD. I was like, honestly, I think it is, because
it sounds like because you've said to me multiple times, sounds irrational, or I sound like an idiot.
I have to justify it before, which is so stupid.
But anyone that's going through feelings that's hard to explain. What I don't like is when people are like, "Oh, just get over it," and it's like, "Oh God, like you have no idea what I'm referring."
We want to feel like this?
Yeah.
Like, no.
And then people also might hear something like this, not be familiar with what we're talking about, and go, "Oh God, they're just wanting attention for talking about this stuff." It's like, no. The reason why I don't mind talking about this kind of stuff is because people actually experience feelings that they can't actually put together as to why they feel the way that they feel. And then when someone can relate to it, hopefully someone is listening to this and they're like, I get exactly what they're saying.
Yeah. And I think that's very valid, because it's, you just don't know. And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, like the reason why I brought up like this whole idea of like maybe it's like like when I say PTSD, I'm just saying like in that category of like you're getting these emotions and feelings, you can't put your finger on why.
What it is.
You're feeling great, you're feeling happy, but for some reason the highs are really high, the lows are really low. It's kind of like for me, like that, like, and I talk about this in therapy sometimes. Is like sometimes I might be feeling like I'm not. I find it hard to feel proud of myself, or I find it hard to think that I'm on. I always sometimes, I don't know why, I feel like I'm behind.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not on track and all these kind of things. And sometimes it could probably be, brought back to even like how you were parented. I mean, these things don't have to be recent events.
No.
These things could be seeded from when you were a child.
Absolutely.
And you grow older, you have these expectations of the world. Some expectations aren't met. Maybe the way that you were parented wasn't, I don't know. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying different. And then you get older and then you're stuck with these feelings and you think they're from, current events.
Yeah.
But really, if you really dig deep, you're like, oh, this actually, like, if my therapist once said to me, it was something along the lines of, if you're feeling like a child, so you feel a bit scared, you feel isolated, you feel lonely, you start to feel like a child, it's probably from an event from when you were a child that has caused you to feel this way.
Yeah, completely. And I think it's true. We're all shaped into the people we are because of how we were brought up and things that we've experienced and things like that. But yeah, look, I definitely think last night the PTSD comment was for sure based around things that have happened to me that I am only now learning how to deal with, because I'm in a situation that I wouldn't know until you're actually in that situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
can we brush on not going into details? We can delete this if you don't want this being said.
Just talk about it, because you can delete it.
Because like a long story short, it was kind of like you were in a relationship with someone that you would probably label as a kind of definition sense of a narcissist. And for people listening, if you've ever, you could have family members that are a narcissist, or you could be in a relationship with a narcissist. These people are like poison. And we don't have to include this, but I just wanted to give a bit of context to what people might think that you're referring to would be, a previous, relationship or whatever with someone who is just really,
it's
not
essentially
good.
like, I guess you go through this when you're in a situation like that, you don't really know you're in that situation. So I think the thing is, coming out of it, for example, a lot of people said, a lot of people will jump from relationship to relationship and you don't deal with things, not just relationships, anything. Like if you don't deal with things, they're always going to be there. So for example, people will jump into another relationship so that they don't have to deal with the problems that they have. I didn't necessarily chose to, but I needed to deal with the trauma and the issues that I had coming out of that before I could even think of like talking to other people or anything along those lines. It took me 3 years. It's ridiculous, but
it's not ridiculous at all.
And it isn't, but the lows that I felt in that time were some of the most painful experiences of my life.
Right.
And Like, it sounds dramatic, but to me, it wasn't. I got to a point where I genuinely.
We almost need to stop saying it sounds dramatic because it's not dramatic at all. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing that you said that. I'm just I don't want to perpetuate this idea that it's like dramatizing something. It's like, this is real for you. Yeah. So like, good on you for sharing it.
It is very real, and I think the thing that where this comes into what's happening now is that I got to such low places that I genuinely did not want to be here anymore. And that's very extreme, but that's where I got to. So a person made me feel like this world would be better off without me in it. And some people will hear that and go, that's crazy or whatever. And until you're in it, but my confidence was so low that to me, getting up and actually getting through a day was basically a win for me,
right?
Because you just get so defeated and you just don't know
sucks
what to do.
The energy out of you.
So there's a big thing, and this is a whole
They're
nother
like
topic.
energy vampires.
It is, and it is a whole nother thing, but for my health was so bad for so incredibly long. I had tests, I had this and that, and in the end I got diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. So it's a whole thing, and I could talk for hours on it, but essentially your body has been in fight or flight for so long that your body is literally just fighting to be alive. And
I never heard of this concept until you told me about it, and I was like, that is fascinating.
It's fascinating because it's frustrating as fuck because there's not a lot you can do about it. So basically,
because let's say people don't have what you're talking about, but even people that experience like horrific anxiety and they have panic attacks, right, or anxiety attacks, everyone who's had one of those, and I know that people who are listening, it's a high percentage. People that experience a panic attack or an anxiety attack where, you know, your heart's racing, whatever social situation you're in, you need to get out of. When you experience that for the rest of that day, and most likely majority of the next day or even the next couple of days, you've got no energy. You almost need time to kind of comprehend why that happened, how that happened, and you almost feel like your energy has been zapped out of your
drained.
Body. Right.
Like your body has no energy left, and that's how I felt on a daily basis. So I was still going to the gym. I was doing all of these things. You eat well, but your body's just so fatigued that it's essentially recovering. And
and you said this is like to do with your nervous system.
Yeah,
the doctor
so
was
adrenal
saying.
fatigue is a big thing. And, you know, obviously I'm not a doctor, but I had to recover from it. And I think your body's just basically recovering from being in fight or flight. Sorry.
Right.
So my immune system went down. There's just so many things that was happening. And just general tiredness, and to get through days like that and then deal with the emotional side of it and all of this, I was very defeated. And I think that's where things are coming now, is that I'm only now learning that I'm not worthless and I don't need someone to tell me that, but it's something.
Not only are you not worthless, you're of high value to a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and
people love you.
And you know what? I never a million years would have ever believed that. And it's a shitty place to be in, but I still get triggered by that sometimes now. And the difference is now is that if I had a bad day a couple of years ago, I was written off. Like, I couldn't function. I couldn't be around people. I'm so fortunate to have the best support system that's what got me through. But like now, if I have a moment where I get triggered, literally got triggered today. I came here and I said to Brad, look at my hands, they're shaking. Like I was literally shaking. Brushed it off within 15 minutes. It's fine. Happened, but I just needed to move past it.
And maybe because it's kind of like that concept of like let's say something triggers you. We deal with things like this very differently. Whatever triggers you, I personally like to expose myself to my triggers,
whereas I don't.
Because the sense that I make in my head is kind of like, if I expose myself to what's triggering me, I can then give myself the opportunity to see it in a different light.
Yeah.
If I shy away and I kind of abandon anything that gives me triggers, I feel like if I'm then put in an environment where I can't control that environment and that trigger comes up, that I feel even more scared because I've been trying to hide away from it. People deal with triggers differently. And people's different triggers, depending on what it is, might be more extravagant or less extravagant. And so you're able to kind of expose yourself to it. But everyone's different.
Oh, and I think I avoided things because I knew that for me to recover the way that I needed to remove myself from situations where I would be like that, having to confront it. But it also, I think now what I will say is that probably 6 months ago, I actually, or maybe not even that long ago, to be honest, a few months ago, everyone used to say to me, you will get to a place where it's just nothing. And I was like, that's never going to happen. Like you won't be, you'll be fine. You'll just wake up and you'll be at peace. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. Didn't think that was at all possible. But I can literally say I have come out the other side of it, which to me is such a big fucking deal because I never thought I would.
Yeah, it's a massive win.
Huge. And some people don't.
Personally, a personal win.
But you know what? It's made me so much fucking stronger. And the benefit of coming out the other side is that, you know, there are so many people that will never understand this because they're not in that situation. And I'm so happy for that because I don't want anyone to ever feel what I felt.
Right.
And, you know, there's two sides to every story. Everyone has, you know, different things that happen, etc. But at the end of the day, for me to come out the other side and say that I have come out the other side when I genuinely never thought I would is such a fucking good feeling.
Yeah.
The benefit of coming out the other side is knowing what you want and appreciating those things. And that's, I think, why I'm in such a happy place right now is that.
Just interesting that you're saying that. It's kind of like when you go through a difficult time or you experience a difficult relationship, whether it be like a romantic relationship or a relationship with a parent or a relationship with a family member, when that's done and ended or, you know, you got to move on, you realize, it sounds like your takeaway is like, I think about some of the relationships I have with peers, not just like relationship with family members and stuff where I go, that is absolutely not the relationship I want to have with people around me. Thank you for showing me who you are. I respect that. You're you, I'm me. We've got everyone's got their own stories, but I'm going to choose not to hang around someone like you because you don't make me feel positive.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to remove myself from the situation.
And I think that's such a valuable thing to get to a point in your life when you can do that. Like, it's a huge thing because that's where I'm at. Like, if someone or something is not bringing value to my life, then I'm not going to put my time or energy into that. And that is not like a kick in the guts or anything to anyone. That is genuinely, life is too fucking short.
Yeah.
And I've learned that so many times over the last few years. It's ridiculous. So, you know, quality over quantity any day of the week.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
have the best people in my life. I have the best support. I am so happy. And I think what comes with that is that you know what you want and you appreciate the things that you want way more.
I think that's life's kind of point.
But people don't think like that because life's so busy. Everything's hectic and you just get through every day and everything just becomes such, you know, the norm. But I think it's truly important to value the things that make you happy and make you feel good. It's not selfish. It's nothing. Some
people don't know what they value.
They don't know what they value.
Sometimes you got to go through some shit to realize, I don't want that.
But even in like relationships now, I know what I want from friendships, from relationships. And it's not about knowing, not all about me. What I mean by that is that what's important to me is knowing what's important to my friends and my partner and those things too. Like, I want to do whatever I can in my power to make their lives better too.
Valuable relationships.
Absolutely. Like, they make me feel good.
You don't want petty relationships with anyone.
Not at all. I don't have time for fucking bullshit. I don't want bullshit at all. Like, I've had enough of that crap. I was in a place where I couldn't even wear what I wanted to wear. Like, that's fucked up. So I value the smallest things and I appreciate those things. But I think, being around people that bring value to your life, but then also giving it back is such a big thing. So, you know, I get a lot from my relationships, but to me, it's even more important to give that back. So, and also knowing what, you know, like you and I, like we were just saying before, when I'm in that place, you know what I need.
Right.
When you're in that place, I know what you need. And we can just read that, which is great. And in a relationship, same thing. Knowing what that person needs. I
think like we're kind of each other's like safe space.
Yeah,
to be like, you know, our relationship's very much just like, hey, you happy? Am I happy? Yeah, cool.
I guess, to wrap it, it's essentially, I think you just need to be happy in yourself. And once you're happy in yourself, the relationships around you are going to be happier. And that is probably the most
And
cliche thing I've ever
you're going
said.
to attract the relationships
Absolutely.
that you require.
And do you know what? It's funny. Like, I got to a point where I just literally, I had so many walls surrounding me that I wouldn't let anybody in. I was so afraid of getting hurt. I was so afraid of every single thing that could possibly hurt me that I just put these walls up and nobody could get through.
Right.
And someone said to me once, you know, once you let the walls down and you start attracting what you want, then it comes. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Bullshit. But it's so true. As soon as I felt this sense of like relief and, you know, letting go and just trusting in the fact that if you get hurt, you get hurt, but how are you going to know unless you try?
You need to risk being hurt in order to love.
Exactly. And I'm a big go with my gut person, and obviously there were situations that I've been in that, you know, don't feel right and this and that, but, you know, I'm at a place now where I've how do I say this?
Say it. Just say it. Say it.
I'm in a place now where I have finally found someone that has made me feel happy. I know, fucking hell, bring out the fireworks.
It's exciting. I love it.
But,
I'm so happy for you.
Look, it's a very surreal feeling.
And he's a good lad. He's such a good lad.
guy.
I haven't met him, but I've heard a lot of things, and he just sounds like a good lad. Apparently, he said I was a good-looking dude, so I like you. I'm a fan.
Anyone's going to give you a compliment, you'll love. But no, like it's taken me 3.5 years to get to this point, but I let walls down. There's just something about this person that's just made me feel safe and supported and happy.
And I said that too. I said you like when you let's say you had the, I don't know, you've experienced some things, you brought it up with this person, and he's so open and just willing to communicate with you, which is exactly what you need.
And it's what I've needed for so long, and I think that's why it feels so surreal is that, and I panic about feeling so happy because I said this to you. And it's sad to me that I can truly say that I haven't felt this happy and supported in a relationship ever.
Yeah.
And that's controversial, but it's also true. And I think you just get to a point in life, like I'm old, that you learn about yourself more and you learn about what you want, but also finding the people in your life that are going to make you feel better and safe is such a big deal. But look, at the end of the day, I'm in a good place. I'm happy, and I've found what I've wanted for such a long time. And to me, that is something I value hugely, and it is worth everything to me because it makes me being happier, makes everything in my life happier as well. And it's about all my relationships, but at the same time, getting to a place where you can actually say that you did come out the other side is such a fucking great feeling.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you know me, I'm genuinely so happy for you.
I know, and I appreciate that.
I love it. I mean, sometimes you tell me some things and you're like, oh, he did this, and I'm like, because I just can't deal with the affection talk and stuff like that. But it's great. And we're going to end this podcast because we're going to end it. We've been talking for a while. We really appreciate you guys listening. If you want to get in contact with us, hit us up on Everything But Weddings Pod on Instagram. We've now got a Linktree link that you can click on in our bio, which will direct you to anywhere and everywhere you could see us. YouTube, Instagram. You could email us. If you want to email us, you can email us. That's a new one.
Yeah, that is a new one.
But we're finding out ways in order to make this a little bit more interactive with the people that are listening to this, and we'd really love to hear from you guys. But we're going to love you and leave you, and good chats. That was a good one. I really liked that one. That was good. We'll speak to you guys next week. We'll see you then. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. Goodbye.
Bye.
All I need are some better days, 'cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better